Hi. Some of you may not well, yeah, there's a couple of videos on YouTube, so you might recognize me as the human, which, I was going to say some dumb thing, like formerly known as, I'm still going to be known as Excelsior the Lion, but I'm going through some worsening problems. It's just getting ridiculous. I love fursuiting. I loved, past tense, being a furry. I was very passionate about it. Sometimes I think that's why I get so upset so easily so often. And I've been trying for 4 years to find something to help me feel better and enjoy and so forth like that. And fursuiting is it. The best thing I've found so far. And was something I could do. But I can't anymore. A lot of things have happened. A lot of things. It was suggested as a last resort thing to just fursuit around the house. It's a small mobile home park. This area right here is it for photography. Cramped, crowded, junky, you name it. But it's a mobile home in a mobile home park in my backyard. So I don't know what to do, but it's not so much in-suit that makes me more comfortable and enjoy being out. Before, I just wouldn't even go to the parks very often, kept trying to, but in fursuit, yeah, I want to go. Enjoy the scenery and all that, but now that's been shot down. Been several incidents. I've been trying for quite some time to find furry friends and or somebody to be a handler to help with my hearing problem, what I call a hearing your person. And there's no wearing hearing aids when you're fursuiting. Sweat shorts them out. So I've been trying and I've had no success. My messages are ignored for the most part. I have a couple of nibbles every once in a while and then they don't pan out. One was a kid that was 17 or 19, whatever, and I'm told to stay away from anybody under 21, partly because we do a lot of online conversations and there's that law. So, as a result, I don't have a handler. Now, people will say, you can go ahead and do it, but they're not familiar with the problems of being deaf. One person started the whole snowball with saying that because of my deafness, doing this one fursuiting event could be a serious problem. A mother that yells, "Look out for my kid! Look out for Johnny! He's going to..." how often do they do that? But that happens without a fursuit on a lot. In a grocery store, for example. So it's not that big a difference, but it's add it all up. All the statements about how difficult it is, and I already had anxieties about doing it that I had to overcome, and that shut me down at that point. And I've been trying to get back to again and get the courage to go solo fursuiting. What's also happened was the budget changed. Last year I had some help from a friend, but he said, this is only going to be for a while, and then that was it. Well, after the convention, that was it. For budget reasons, I could not go to furry meets or fursuiting events anymore, for the most part. I did get to go to Leo's mini golf, so I finally got to mini golf in fursuit. Can't wait to do a whole fairway, the big ones. And we're going, oh my God, there's a lion, get out the guns. Anyhow. Jealous the cat is right there on the cat, so if the camera's going, it's her. Yeah, I'm smiling, I don't know why. So, it was very gracious for my friend from Sacramento to pick me up and take me there and pay the entry fee because I didn't have the money. Never did. But that was it. I tried to do mass transit, but it's very difficult. But there was a okay, before that, right, which is why I was counting on it so much, I got to lead up to it. There were 2 police encounters. Now, I go to parks completely empty. The area that's completely empty, the picnic area, always empty. Didn't notice that it was always empty. Still always empty. Now I know why. Parents of the nearby children's playground think they own the whole goddamn park, and they've been chasing everybody off. They keep calling the cops, and I keep seeing that happen. So they called the cops on me. The first time, the cop understood. Very nice, checked my ID. That was it, you know. Didn't even look at my camera. Second time, 2 officers came by, harassed me. They kept asking questions. As soon as I answered, they immediately jumped with another question. I couldn't finish an answer, couldn't say very much. Total nasty behavior, and very unprofessional, to say the least. There are methods to determining if a person's telling the truth, and in this case trying to understand both, am I telling the truth and what am I doing? I did the best I could, but I'm not exactly eloquent. So they said to leave, and don't come back to the parks anymore. Now online I say we instead of I, because a lot of people, a lot of trolls will say that if it was just me, it's because I'm a screwed up person, and it was just me. Happened in Washington. They're getting a lawyer. They got banned from the parks too. And I just went to downtown to verify. You know, maybe it was a misunderstanding of something, and they repeated it exactly, but I was not allowed to see the sergeant. I kept trying to make an appointment. But they repeated it. Do not go to city parks anymore as a furry, even wearing a tail, and what I've heard before, even without the tail, the main path goes right by the kiddie playland. You go right on that path by yourself, they're going to say you're a perv and have the cops sent after you. It's their park. It's unreal. It's absolute paranoia. And the cops agreed with me, at least on that. They say, yeah, it is classic paranoia. So that's why I wasn't sure where they were banning me, harassing me, advising what. I have no idea. I can't read people very well. But that's shut down solo fursuiting. I'm not going to go solo fursuiting again ever, unless I have somebody go with me and we find some place that is acceptable, or we get permission to do it at the parks. So I can't go to group fursuiting events. Don't have the money. Can't, you know, go. Everything's all 30+ miles away. I tried to organize one here. Nobody showed up twice. I'm an unknown, yet there are some furries saying I have a reputation, and that's why nobody out here will be my friend. I've messaged so many furries. No responses. And when I do get a few little nibbles, it's a 19-year-old and a 19-year-old, whatever his age was, and that was about it before. And then recently they popped up a couple of persons on Facebook, and one of them, I think it was one of them, so I can't do solo and group fursuiting. I mean, I can't get to the group fursuiting. All the meets, you can't, going by transit means as soon as I get there I have to turn around and come back. But found one, and the person announced it on Facebook, put up an events page and RSVP stuff, so I RSVP'd and asked some questions, and the person said exactly 1 o'clock at the City Hall. Do I want to make this generic? Because they're going. I'll go ahead and accuse it. I know I use an accusatory tone. I'm trying to not. I've heard huge numbers of complaints about my behavior, and I'm trying to change it. But I'm going to be specific. Rat Girl said on the page, "We're going to be there at 1 o'clock." Everybody's now saying they're playing that hindsight lady thing. You know, there's a strip that picks fun at how people always pop up and say, in hindsight you should have. Yeah, I should have read her mind. I should have gotten her phone number. I should go back in time and gotten her phone number and emailed and stuff like that. But she said And it's on black and white, 1 p.m., and we're not in the parade. We're going to fursuit and watch the parade. So I get there at 1 o'clock. I actually took a train that should have gotten me there at 12:30, but good old Bart canceled it. So I got there right at 1 o'clock, and there they are lining up to get in the parade. I started to discuss with them, and I can't remember all what was said, but they were the only furries there and the only fursuiters. And I need to fursuit. I thought that was an opportunity to do so, and I was counting on it too much. That's, of course, my mistake. I make a lot of mistakes, but I still need to. And they have to take some responsibility too, and they're not. That person then said, "We don't leave anybody behind." I took her literally for it. And I had to go to the bathroom real quick, so I went to the bathroom real quick, and I got back, and they had already left. They were put in well before anybody else. They were way up. But she also said that I could be a handler. Since I couldn't fursuit, at least I could be a handler. So when I got back, I went chasing up after them, trying to catch up with them, jogging practically up the hills and way over. As it turns out, and looking on the map, I went almost halfway of the trip. That was weird. When I finally caught up with them, but by that time I was having a fit. I realized that she had lied to me. She said we were not in the parade and to be there at 1 o'clock. It's instead of, we are in the parade and you're going to have to be there at 12, but you have to be pre-registered to get in the parade or something. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe she could have gotten me in, but she would then say, well, because you're old and disabled and fat and all that, you shouldn't be in the parade. And as I found out, I could do just fine. But not when I was jogging up, that was, going real fast and up hills and so forth. So by the time I got there, I was having an asthma attack or something. It was just terrible. And had to call an ambulance. They took me in. They thought it was a blood clot. Turns out it's not, but the CAT scan found I have an enlarged aorta, whatever that means. It's not too big, so they said there's nothing to worry about. But I've fursuited plenty of times before. And she just said on Facebook earlier today, Fur Affinity, that it was 6 miles. The trip was 6 miles from the beginning to the end. According to Google, it was 1.1 miles. The distance from here to the bus stop, which is over on the other side of the mall. I've walked many times that distance in fursuit. And Petaluma was just, this. And I added it up. And that was like 2 or 3 miles in fursuit. Sometimes walking fast and playing around. And I was not exhausted by the end. Excelsior suit is very light, fairly easy to use and all that sort of thing. But it's my first fursuit, and I'm still not happy with it because I wish it had been fur, and there have been complaints about it, and I don't know. But that's why I prefer to use that one. Comfy, easy, cool, and blah, 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 blah. So I could have gone that parade without a problem. They would be sitting there at the end and sweating and collapsing. I would have been, what are you guys sweating about, man? It was a slow walk. There was no problem for an old goat like me. So now they're angry at me because I got upset at them. Because she lied to me. She said we're not in the parade and to be there at 1, and she had lied. And didn't really apologize. She kind of apologized for it when I that was it. Now they're all saying because I got angry that I'm the bad guy. I should never get angry about that sort of thing. And yeah, I should have beautiful Vulcan mind control, don't get angry, upset, and also to think ahead somehow, like on that, to think ahead, well, maybe they're wrong. Maybe we should be an hour ahead of time. And maybe the train would be canceled. And maybe they'll find some way to join the parade And so I would need to be sure in contact with her and then ask very specific questions, which I could write now. I've written them. Very specific questions of who, what, where, when, why. So I could be sure, double checking her information. Are we not in the parade? Are you sure we're not in the parade? It seems stupid to ask that, but yes. Then, if she does not answer the questions, don't go. That then leaves me the problem of then again yet another I can't go fursuiting thing. But because I get upset and they can't stand it and they can't handle somebody with disabilities and who's slow and so forth, I'm slow because I don't want to overexert in a fursuit. There are 18-year-old kids, they get in a goddamn fursuit, they overexert themselves, they have a heart attack. I don't know if any have died yet. I don't have heart attacks. I have no heart condition. That enlarged aorta is the first, and it's, oh my God, I actually got a heart thing? Hey, I've been fat all my life. I should have had a heart attack decades ago, if you believe the doctors. Sometimes there's an exception. But I'm due. Age does bring about those things, but I'm still able to do it if I can control the pace and so forth. And had I had a problem, I could have dropped out, walked to the curb, gotten out of sight, unsuited, whatever, and maybe either, after sitting and cooling off, go on and caught up with them at Japantown or whatever. But no, I just flew off the handle, and then I had some problem. And I was very worried because they keep saying how we have heart attacks, so that's why I called for an ambulance. It was because I was afraid I was having one. It turned out I wasn't. No blood clot, and ironically enough, not the exhaustion thing that happened at mini golf. At mini golf, I had upset stomach, throwing up water. And part of the mistake was I didn't eat before going. I thought I did, but screwed up. This time I was careful. I had everything extremely arranged. I was careful. I swear to God on this trip. And it goes south, and it's my fault. So those folks that were in it are blaming me. So fuck them. That's what I've been told time and time again by friends, online friends. Just fuck them. So my therapist then yesterday suggested for me to not do any furry things at all for a week. Kind of like dropping out, but it's a hiatus. So I started that. Yesterday when I was out and I was not wearing the tail for some reason, all of a sudden I just don't want to wear the tail, and I was at Goodwill and I thought to myself, I am ashamed to call myself a furry. Either because I make them look bad, because I'm so passionate and all that, or they're bad behavior. If you believe all the people that said they're all snarky, they're this, that, and the other furries will say this, that all furries are a bunch of junk. So, I'm not a furry anymore. I love the concept. I'll use some other name, but I should disassociate myself from the furry community. I forgot to say at the beginning of the tape, I'm not wearing my tail. And I've said before, if I stop wearing my tail, well, I'm dead. I'm either going to commit suicide or it's on my deathbed or something. Well, as a furry, I guess I am dead. The fursuits are retired because I can't go fursuiting. And I'm being given a bad time by a lot of furries. I can't go fursuiting. I can't do anything to help me feel better. And I pulled myself out of the furry community, and 24 hours later, I'm not a furry anymore. Still love the concept. But those guys, hey, they're apparently a lot closer to the CSI lie episode that said all furries are perverts than I thought. I kept saying, we're not like that. They kept saying we're not like that. But, yeah, they're messed up. There's some good ones in that mess somewhere. Henry and several other, most of my online friends. It's hard to tell because I have to meet them in person to get a better idea and do something with them. So, I'm not a furry anymore. I'm not wearing my tail anymore. I'm not going to be able to go fur seeing anymore. And in time, we'll find out what happens. I'm trying to decide about what to do about the police thing. But since I have no friends out here, nobody wants anything to do with me, I can put out a notice to say, we're going to go and have a rally at the park to show the people we're not a bunch of pervs. Nobody's going to show up. So, forget it. If they want to get arrested themselves too for fursuiting in a park, have fun, kids. I'm not going to defend you. I'm not going to prevent it from happening. I'm not going to fight for my rights. That's it. No more. I'm still trying to assess and get the truth about everything going on and make the right decisions, but I can't do it anymore. So, I'm not a furry. This is Randolph Garrett, not a furry, formerly known as Excelsior, saying, you know, all that enthusiasm I had for furries, I'm beginning to wonder if it was false. Good night.